who got the Nobel that determined that the universe was 13.8 billion years old. And over the years, particularly accelerated in the last century, we have an understanding that, of course, ours is not the only galaxy. And there are billions and billions of galaxies, and each of those galaxies, including our own, have billions and billions of stars. And with the James Webb looking at the exoplanets, we are now beginning to discover, and somewhere out there, we will discover another medium-sized stony planet around a medium-sized sun or star at just the right distance, not too far, not too close, with a tilt in its axis that rotates, that has carbon, that will have a habitable atmosphere. If you ask me, do I believe there's life in a universe that is so vast that it's hard for me to comprehend how big it is? My personal answer is yes. But I asked some of our scientists. As a matter of fact, the Washington Post editorial board asked us to come down to the question, what is the mathematical probability that there is life out there in the universe? And if you calculate in billions of stars, in billions of galaxies, that there's replicated what I just said, another stony planet. The answer was, what's the likelihood? At least 1 trillion. That's from our scientist. So we start this without any preconceived notions, but understanding that we're in a world of discovery. And we, NASA, have taken for the first time concrete action to seriously look into UAP. And this independent study team is exactly that. It's independent. They work to develop recommendations about how NASA could better examine them from a scientific perspective. And the top takeaway from the study is that there is a lot more to learn. The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin, but we don't know what these UAP are. That's why I'm announcing that NASA has appointed a NASA director of UAP research. They are being tasked with developing and overseeing the implementation of NASA's vision for UAP research. We will use NASA's expertise to work with other agencies to analyze UAP. We will use AI and machine learning to search the skies for anomalies, as we have been searching the heavens and will continue to search the heavens for habitability. And NASA will do this transparently. So while today is a significant step for NASA, it's certainly not our final step. And we're going to share more with you. And I want to introduce you to Dr. Nikki Fox, who is the head of our Science Mission Directorate. Nikki.
Good morning, and thank you so much, Administrator Nelson.
Fala galera, Fabiano Fetter por aqui. Bill Nelson aí dando um relato aí dos inícios aí, né, da questão independente aí desse estudo, que é um estudo independente. Bom dia a todos, deixa o like, muito importante. A gente segue acompanhando aqui o relatório da NASA sobre OVNIs, né? Então ele colocou ali algumas informações da definição, né, dos estudos de forma independente e compõe este relatório. E quem sabe ele repetilhando, né, Marli? Então, eles estão falando da questão dos dados. Sobre o AP. Vão usar aí tanto inteligências artificiais, machine learning, toda a área de programação aí, para processar os dados, né? E agora ela está falando a questão de ir para o lado científico, né? Através dos dados, analisando os dados.
The independent study team's report is now public and it can be found at science.nasa.gov/UAP. While NASA is still working to evaluate the report and to assess the independent study team's findings and recommendations, NASA is committed to immediately contributing to the federal government's unified UAP effort. And as you heard, we have appointed a director of UAP research. In their role, they will centralize communications.
Então a NASA está aí tornando público com o propósito de analisar os dados, tá, galera? Este é o propósito de analisar os dados.
Additionally, our director of UAP research will also leverage NASA's expertise in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and space-based observation tools that will support and enhance the broader government initiative into UAP. They will serve as NASA's point of contact for government entities, but especially for the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or ARROW. And this will ensure our coordinated efforts and effective communication channels. Beyond our director of UAP research, NASA will also advance citizen reporting by working with the public and commercial pilots to collect a broader set of data to add to the vast data repositories to not only contribute to a broader, more reliable data set for future UAP incidents, but to also contribute to the destigmatization of the important study of UAPs. And with that, it is my great pleasure to hand over to Dr. Dan Evans, who is the NASA official responsible for supporting this amazing study.
Good morning. I'd like to begin by expressing my sincere thanks to NASA Administrator Bill Nelson for directing this study. We at NASA believe that understanding UAP is vital for several reasons. First and foremost, it provides an opportunity for us to expand our understanding of the world around us. At NASA, we are committed to charting the uncharted, so this work aligns with who we are. Secondly, this study aims to enhance situational awareness. The presence of UAP raises serious concerns about the safety of our skies, and it's this nation's obligation to determine whether these phenomena pose any potential risks to airspace safety. Let's not forget that the first A in NASA is aeronautics. So by understanding the nature of UAP, we can ensure that our skies remain a safe space for all. Administrator Nelson directed us to put together an independent and external team of world-leading experts to produce a report containing a roadmap with a series of recommendations that describe how NASA could best help in the cross-government response to UAP. Months of meticulous fact-finding, cross-disciplinary collaboration, and scientific rigor gave the team insights that will greatly enhance our nation's understanding of UAP going forward. The team's report, now available on NASA's website, stands as a testament to NASA's and the team's commitment to transparency, to the power of science, and to the unwavering quest for knowledge. We at NASA believe that studying UAP represents an exciting step forward in our journey to uncover the mysteries of the world around us. By embracing a scientific lens, We have ensured that our work is evidence-based and data-driven. And by valuing transparency and openness, we have aimed to foster trust and collaboration with the public. I'd like to conclude by extending my deepest gratitude to the team for their incredible dedication and service. Their efforts have been instrumental, and I truly appreciate the expertise and commitment that each of them have brought to this endeavor. And with that, I'll pass over to Dr. David Spergel, who chaired our study.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to extend our sincere gratitude to the NASA administrator for entrusting us with this pivotal study. Your faith in our capabilities has been a driving force behind the panel's approach. The panel's comprehensive study into unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, has led to several crucial findings, and I'd like to elucidate on our methodology and those findings this morning. We began by rigorously assessing the current state of UAP data. Our goal was not to repeat the work of the Arrow, but to understand the nature of the reports. Our goal was to produce a roadmap for NASA to contribute to the understanding of the nature of UAP events. We looked at NASA's assets. While they provide a comprehensive picture of the ocean, the Earth's surface and atmosphere for studying our evolving planet, they typically do not have the resolution needed for UAP events. However, by providing data on environmental conditions, they can complement other data on UAP. The current approach to UAP data collection has led to a limited sample of events and limited data. Stigma has limited reporting by pilots, both civilian and military, so we know there's missing data. For its analysis in other areas, NASA always takes a scientific approach of systematic data collection that involves calibrating instruments, multiple measurements, and ensuring sensor metadata. Most UAP events lack this quality of data. One of NASA's contribution to the broader governmental effort to bring these methodologies to create a data set is to bring these methodologies to create a data set that's both reliable and extensive. And once we have a large sample of well-characterized events, AI and ML tools, which are proving to be powerful in so many other applications, will likely prove helpful in identifying interesting anomalies. It is essential to clarify, based on our current findings and methodology, that we find no evidence to suggest that UAP are extraterrestrial in origin. Our focus is on understanding the phenomenon, however, regardless of the source. And previous work from the Arrow has shown that most events are explainable as planes, balloons, drones, weather phenomena, and instrument features. And in any search for interesting anomalies, the first step is to eliminate the chaff of conventional events before moving on to identify novel phenomena. In this, the public's role cannot be overstated. The panel envisioned a framework that leverages crowdsourcing, possibly via smartphone applications, to capture a broader spectrum of data, ensuring more eyes and ears on the ground. Lastly, we delved into the safety concerns UAP present within U.S. airspace. By integrating UAP collection within our current aviation reporting system, the panel believes we can provide insights into potential safety risks. NASA can reduce the stigma associated with pilots reporting anomalies, and fundamentally, by studying events we don't understand, we advance our understanding. So in conclusion, with a rigorous methodology, public engagement, NASA...
Fazemos comentários aí sobre a primeira página do relatório aí. É interessante que tem. Identificado os famosos sprites, que eu capturo aqui nas câmeras de meteoro também. A rede Bamon toda captura sprites. É o que os pilotos não falam que enxergam, né? Ou nem sabem o que vem.
For those of you who are in the phone line, please press *1 to get onto the queue. We will try to answer as many as we can today. We'll see how it goes. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. This is directed to Mr. Nelson. Thank you for being here. Two quick questions. One is, how can we make the determination of what something isn't when we don't know what it is? And B, after a careful review of the data, if it's determined that some, underline the word some 10 times, UFOs or UAP originate from a non-human intelligence, what's the plan to disclose that to the public?
And can you identify yourself, please?
James Fox. Thank you.
I'm sorry, and what outlet?
Independent media. Thank you.
Well, let me repeat.
It's on.
Let me repeat what I said. I think it's important that you hear this word for word. The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin, but we don't know what these UAP are. The mission of NASA is to find out.
Então a equipe independente relata que não encontrou nada que pudesse se concluir de forma alienígena. Além da primeira página, já colocaram aí e foram identificados os sprites, que são os fenômenos atmosféricos. É verdade, Lincoln, muito preconceito. É que também eles não estão qualificados, às vezes não sabem nem o que estão vendo, né, cara? Enfim, é que nem quando teve aqui os Ovnis aqui perto de Porto Alegre, né, cara? Os caras viram tanta coisa ali que complicado. Por parte de falta de conhecimento, né?
I said we intend to be, which is transparent. You bet your boots. We will say that. And I've tried to set the table for you by telling you what I personally believe in a universe that is so vast that could there be a replication of life on Earth elsewhere in another solar system that is so big? Of course I believe that. The distances, it would have to be a very advanced civilization. The distances, light years, hundreds of light years, billions of light years. But whatever we find, we're going to tell you.
Thank you very much.
Great, and we'll move on to the next question. Please do identify yourself.
Thanks. This is Joey Roulette from Reuters. Question for Bill Nelson or any of the other panelists. So you've appointed a director of UAP research. Have you named someone to that role? And what kind of investment are you considering making in this? Is this going to be a new program office? Have you thought of funding figures, etc.? Thanks.
Pô, desempregado, desculpa aí, foi sem querer, hein? Afastei um pouco o microfone aqui, que eu tenho que deixar o volume regulado para vocês escutarem a versão original, né? Vamos ver aí quais mais pontos eles vão divulgar, se tem alguma coisa interessante. Até agora foram identificados sprites, né? E aí todos os dados estão sendo aí processados. Muitos dados não foram processados, mas estão utilizando aí metodologia científica, machine learning, para analisar dados, dos avistamentos e capturas, né? Então, assim, o objetivo principal de forma independente, trabalho independente aí, é analisar os dados, né, da mesma forma aqui que diariamente eu pego aqui informações aqui de capturas de meteoros e outros efeitos na atmosfera, né? A rede Bramon e a rede GMN, e assim como tem milhares de câmeras apontadas para o céu no mundo inteiro.
May 31st. And we actually talked then about we wanted to remove the stigma, and we also did not tolerate any of the abuse that some of our members of the panel were receiving, particularly on social media, for doing this really important scientific study. So absolutely, we want pilots and both, as Bill said, both private pilots, commercial pilots, military pilots, to feel that if they see something, they need to report it.
I want to say, and I want to repeat the way I said it, we want to shift the conversation about UAPs from sensationalism to science.
I think of this in terms of the signs we see around for security, which say, if you see something, say something. I think in this context, we would summarize it as, if you see something, collect high quality data on it, because then we can learn.
If I may, I just noticed in the report the Go Fast incident was one that was picked out, and that had been held up as an example of a very credible sighting that you seem to be pouring doubt on. Can you just talk to that?
I mean, we looked at that as one example, and I think this is something that Arrow has actually done a very good job of going through the events. And most events are going to turn out, even if there are some events that in the end turn out to be something novel, most events are going to turn out to be conventional things, balloons, airplanes, and so on. I think of the process of discovery of anomalies as looking for a needle in a haystack. And if you want to find a needle in a haystack, you've got two choices. Either you know exactly what the needle looks like, and you design a very good filter to look for the needle. It's called match filtering in sort of AI work, machine learning, signal processing. Or you don't know what you're looking for. And with anomalies, that's really the case we're in. We're looking for things we don't understand. So if you want to find something strange in a haystack, you better know exactly what hay looks like. And you better be able to characterize that really well. And that's why in a process like this, and this is something that I think we bring to this as we look for anomalies, is you need to know what typical regular things look like under all conditions. You need to know what balloons look like when pilots see them, so under unusual conditions, so that you can eliminate those events. And that's why in identifying anomalies, understanding the normal is a very important part of it, and understanding that under different observing conditions and collecting data in a uniform way. I mean, this is what we do when we study anomalies in space science or other areas of science. And what we're trying to do is bring this approach to this field by saying, collect high quality data, understand the normal events, and that's how we move things forward.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next question, please.
Hello, I'm Nomia Iqbal from BBC News. Just to follow up on the stigma question, UAP, that term has been used in part to destigmatize UFOs. The fact is most people use UFOs. Most of the American public, most of the world use that term. So I wonder how much is the stigma still a problem for you, and what are you practically doing about it, really, to convince people? And my second very quick question, in your report, I noticed that you said AI is a very essential tool for identifying rare occurrences. Yesterday, we were at this big AI summit where you had 100 senators meeting all the big tech tycoons, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. And speaking to some senators afterwards, they said, we are concerned about AI, we need it to be regulated. Does that concern you? Or are you worried that it might hamper your work? Thank you very much.
Well, two big questions. First of all, do I personally believe that AI needs to have some boundaries? The answer to that for our existentialism, yes. Can you do that within the appropriate bounds so that, as I said in my remarks, that we're going to utilize AI as one of the tools as we search for what is an answer to the UAP. So no, I don't think that any attempts to that the Congress has underway to try to write a law that would appropriately put guardrails around AI for other reasons is in any way going to inhibit us from utilizing the tools of AI to help us in our quest on this specific issue. Now, what was your other question?
Just how do you destigmatize the whole thing? Because I know you call it UAPs, but people don't refer it to in that way.
Yeah. Well, there's a mindset. We all are entertained by Indiana Jones in the Amazon and finding the crystal skull. So there's a lot of folklore out there. That's why we entered the stage, the arena, to try to get into this from a science point.
I think you can blame the X-Files for a lot of this as well.
That possibly too, but just remember what I said. We NASA are trying to shift it from sensationalism to science.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
And we do have a long line in the room, but I want to give a couple chances to some people on the phone line. So I'm going to go to the phone for our first question there. Please do introduce yourself and ask a question. The phone, can you hear me?
Our first question is from Marcia Dunn with the Associated Press. Your line is open.
Yes, hi, Marcia Dunn, AP. I'm already receiving emails on Area 51 in Roswell, so I would like to ask Mr. Spergel, how much were you and your fellow panel members hassled or bombarded by this sort of thing during the course of your study? And for NASA, are you not naming the director of UAP research for this very reason, so that they're not hassled and bombarded by the fringe element? Thanks.
No, I would divide emails and tweets into two types, right? There's some where people honestly are curious about things they've seen, they've heard. There are things that are hard to respond to, like my uncle who's dead saw something strange, and you get a report. And that's not useful, but that's harmless. On the other hand, one of the things that happened during the study, and this may be part of a bigger discussion of cultural behavior on social media, where people behave badly, and I would say harassed some of our panel members. And that...
Bom, galera, definitivamente nada demais diferente do que a última divulgação que ocorreu aí no último relatório. Porém, agora eles estão com o relatório público e mostrando ali os sprites, né, que são fenômenos atmosféricos aí que a gente consegue capturar aí com câmeras de monitoramento de meteoros e é muito comum a visualização aí, principalmente pelos pilotos, né? E então eles estão comentando aí também a utilização, os dados estão disponíveis, né? A utilização aí de machine learning, inteligência artificial, justamente para processar esses dados aí, né? E eles são detectados aí em diversos outros sensores, né? Existem aí detectores de raios, né? Descargas eletromagnéticas. Também existe aí as câmeras posicionadas nos satélites geoestacionários, aí, o NOAA, né? A rede NOAA aí. E trabalha aí tanto no infravermelho quanto no visual. E aí todas essas informações são coletadas, né? Coletadas e aí tu vai processar. Cada sensor, tu vai, tipo assim, um bólido explosivo, né? Que eu peguei aí um bólido explosivo aí, tem um vídeo no canal aí, mês passado, né? O satélite lá, o NOAA, pegou, né? Então várias câmeras registraram. Então, não tem muita novidade aí, tá? O Serjão lá já falava que isso aí era esperto há muito tempo. Depois que eu comecei a fazer o trabalho aí junto à Bramon, Rede Brasileira de Monitoramento de Meteoros, a gente conseguiu aí perceber aí que isso ocorre. Tá, galera, eu vou encerrando a live por aqui, não tem nada demais. A gente pensou aí que poderia ter alguma coisa a mais, mas só para participar aí neste momento aí. E ficou bastante aí na mídia. Já se inscrevam lá no meu canal Cosmic Garden, para quem não conhece, eu tenho um outro canal, estou transmitindo ao vivo lá também, e lá eu estarei divulgando ali sempre alguns vídeos diferentes. Vou deixar o link aqui no chat, importante deixar o like aqui na live, tá? O clima não tem ajudado, né? A gente tá com muita chuva aqui no Rio Grande do Sul. Assistam já aí, tanto aqui no Pedalando quanto lá no Cosmic Garden. Tem um vídeo aí sobre o eclipse lá no dia 14 de outubro. Tá? A gente vai fazer uma live aí o dia inteiro. O Pedro Irônico tá lá em João Pessoa. Então ele poderá trazer aí mais informações direto, né? Da fonte, onde estará aí 2 capitais. Valeu, Marli. As 2 capitais aí, Natal e João Pessoa, que estarão aí. Estarão aí nas condições ideais de 100% do eclipse, né? Então já se inscrevam no meu canal novo lá. Eu vou deixar o link aqui no chat do vídeo lá para quem não assistiu, com dicas, tá? Com dicas aqui de observação, de segurança, independente se tu tem telescópio ou vai assistir aí a olho nu, tá? Tá aí as minhas dicas de segurança. Importante não olhar sem proteção o eclipse lá no dia 14 de outubro, né? Exatamente daqui a um mês, tá, galera? Então, assistam o vídeo ali, já deixa o like, se inscreva lá no canal, e a gente vai estar fazendo uma cobertura aí nos 2 canais aí, estaremos fazendo uma cobertura ao vivo lá no dia 14 do eclipse. Tempo abrindo aqui no Rio Grande do Sul, a gente estará aí mostrando Saturno aí, nos aguardando aí o tempo abrir, realmente não está ajudando. 2 últimas semanas aí você deve ter acompanhado as notícias, as chuvas estão intensas, muitos estragos, o rio aqui na cidade também já está aqui deixando desabrigados, então aí vamos torcer aí que o tempo melhore aí, para que impacte da menor maneira possível, né? Somente as vidas que foram perdidas aí nesses eventos aí da semana, né? Dessa semana e da outra semana, né? A gente está com, mais uma vez, com um ciclone aí no litoral. A princípio, ele está se avançando para o alto mar, né? Vamos confirmar aí. Nada se formar aí até amanhã, pode ser que se disperse tudo. Tá, galera? Fico por aqui. Então era isso. O relatório aí da NASA já mostrou, concluído. E demais informações estaremos divulgando aqui. São apenas sprites, um fenômeno atmosférico, que eu inclusive registro aqui nas câmeras de meteoro aqui no Rio Grande do Sul. Valeu, galera. Fabiano Fetter por aqui. Um forte abraço. E até mais. Tchau, tchau.